Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dining with Nadiva show, a TNT production. I am your hostess with the mostest, Nadiva.
And I'm Tracy. Hey there.
And I'm Tasha. Hey, guys.
Hi and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.
And make sure you share. Why?
Yeah, because
sharing is caring. And by the way, we are TNT.
Gotta make sure we get that in there.
Yes.
Gotta know who we are.
Right. So, today's topic is a really, 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 really good topic. I think that everyone has experienced this.
And if you haven't, you will.
You will.
Right.
So, today's topic is, when is it time to end a toxic friendship? When is it time to end a toxic friendship?
Heavy.
I'm going to hold on to my opinion.
It's just heavy.
I'm going to hold on to it.
Some heavy stuff.
Because I'm coming from experience.
Yes, we all.
We all
We
are.
all, I think, have some experience. But before we get into that topic, we're going to get right into our featured restaurant of the day, which is, and I love Latin cuisine. We are going to be featuring Elsa's Restaurant. They're a Latin restaurant located in Teaneck. They're at 1515 Teaneck Road in Teaneck, New Jersey. Their website is...
What is it, Nay?
It's going to be at the bottom of your screen in the description box. So just take a look at
Nay,
that.
sound it out.
Sound
it out.
Chicharron.
Chicharron.
La Reina del Chicharron.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
La Reina del Chicharron.
That's because her husband's Puerto Rican.
That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. I've been speaking in Spanish for a long time.
Long time.
Long time.
But they are a great local restaurant. They have every time I drive past there's people, there's lines coming out the door. They have outside dining, indoor dining, always great music. I was in there yesterday and I just was
Yeah, I know. You called me and I'm like, Nay, I can't hear you.
Yes.
How she describes South music.
It's just
So what are we having today?
So today, what they made for us today is some rotisserie chicken with some yellow rice and beans.
Oh.
Yes, I can't wait to
pollo.
I was getting ready to say arroz con
arroz
pollo.
habichuelas.
Habichuelas.
Listen to
Could
you.
that be up? Look who it is, y'all.
Look at our trusted
Hey,
Kasim.
Cassie.
Thank you so much, Kasim. Look at this.
Oh, that looks good.
Delicioso.
Nobody who speaks
Thank you
Spanish
so
says
much.
that like that.
Listen, they gonna be speaking it in.
So we have rice and beans.
Yeah, so we've got some.
Do we know what kind of beans this is?
This is red beans.
Okay.
Rojo.
Rojo. Look at you. You know all the colors?
Listen now, don't be testing them.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You know she want to look.
I know yellow is
gotta
amarillo.
look like she-
Amarillo is yellow, and verde is green, and azul is blue.
And
Blanco is white.
negro is black.
Is black, and that's the one you all need to remember.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
Ready? What? I've been eating.
Yeah, did you pray?
Did you pray? She quick to call us out. I ain't seen you say grace once.
Lord, bless this food that we've received and about to receive. Let it nourish and strengthen our body for Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Here we go.
Flavorful chicken ain't not worse than bland chicken, but this chicken is not bland.
And you can taste the sofrito in the beans.
Yes, you do.
The rice is seasoned perfectly.
Nice yellow rice.
Nice and tender rice. I don't like hard rice.
Goodness gracious.
This right here is really good.
Gonna put some meat on your bone, honey.
Not with the sweet chicken. You can taste the herbs.
And
the
it's not
spices.
dry.
It is not dry. Very tender. Very moist. Let me taste. I love chicken with the skin. Rotisserie skin. Because that's what all the
Delicious.
flavor is.
Very tender.
Oh, yeah. That right there.
Right there, right there.
Why there?
And I think this part right here is the breast. And you know, breast usually is a little bit
dry.
dry, but this is delicious.
Very good.
It's delicious. And they also got, if you're into pork, they have got great chicharrones,
They have great empanadas too.
empanadas,
That's my place
mofongo.
for empanadas.
Delicious.
I said, when this is all over, I'm going to need for you to do a little sound bite of all of Nadia's. Yum.
Delicious.
Put it all together for us, okay?
Hold up now. That's a whole nother show then.
Ooh, all right. Well, listen, we're going to go ahead and dig on into this
Yes, please.
We will be right
With
back.
with the topic of the day, Diva's table topic.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to hold off because I got a lot of information about this topic right here. So,
La Reina del Chicharron.com is their website. Elsa's Restaurant.
1515 Teaneck Road in Teaneck, New Jersey, 07666. The telephone number is 201-837-2524. Tell them TNT sent you from Dining with Nadiva.
Don't go anywhere.
we'll be right
Right
back.
back.
Somebody got to tell me if I'm having a wardrobe malfunction here. I don't want to show too much too soon.
Look, I'll try my best, but I'm full. I might fall asleep right here.
No, don't get the itis. We got topic.
Oh.
I want to talk.
That
I
was
want to. I
delicious.
want to vent.
Okay.
Uh-oh, okay.
Thank you,
wanna
Elsa's
start?
Restaurant, by the
No.
way.
Yes, that was delicious.
Thank you.
Oh, my God,
Yes,
so good.
Absolutely delicious. All right, so let's get into Diva's Table topics. This is a good one.
This is a
definitely
really
good
good
one. I
one.
think we all can hit this on. All right, can I just start with this one so I can just get it off my chest?
See?
So you see what happened was I had a girlfriend, right? We grew up together, went to high school, middle school, best friends, into adulthood. I was there when she got married, first marriage, first child, second child, divorce, men in between. But we would always have our girls' nights, you know, that always would bring us together. Well, it just so happened recently she got married for the second time
Okay.
and did not invite me.
How'd you find out?
I found out through Instagram
Wow.
Ouch.
on a mutual friends page. And it hurt my heart. It devastated
Were you
me
at the first
because
wedding?
I wasn't even at the first wedding, but she gave me an excuse for the first wedding because she said it was it was intimate, just family. Okay, fine. But she promised me if I ever get married, and we said this even in grade school, you know, we were like, oh, you're going to be in my wedding. You know, you
Right.
always do that, right? But I know things change. People
grow
grow.
apart, right.
So, but we never grew apart.
Right. She was still a part of your life. It'd be
Right.
So
different.
you were still actively friends when she got married the
Absolutely.
second time and didn't
Absolutely.
invite you?
Right.
As a matter of fact, we had talked to her.
So this is a friend that
This
you
is
have
the second
too.
time. Yes, she met her through me, and we would do our girls' nights together, just the three of us.
Oh.
Yes, so we
The
would
girls'
just
night was
and we would dump everything on the table. Good, bad,
Everything.
relationship, you know, marriage, relationship stuff,
Kids, whatever.
everything. And we were supporting her through her first marriage and through her divorce with our girls' nights, right?
Right.
So when this new person came in and they started to develop a relationship, we were still present, you know, maybe because she was actually dealing with something very difficult at that time. So we kind of like allowed her to
Her
go through
time.
that process. But in that process, she decided to get married, which was a suggestion that I had actually made to her so that she wouldn't focus on some of the bad things that were happening in her life. So I just so happened to be in the mall one day and ran into a friend of ours from high school who had said, "Oh, did you speak to so-and-so?" And I had just, Tracy and I had just spoken to
We were
her
in the
a week
car
before.
together.
And she didn't mention to you that she got married?
Nothing.
So then that means she knew she was wrong.
Right.
Right.
So when I ran into this person and he said, "Oh, did you hear about so-and-so got married?" I said, "What?" I said, "I just spoke to her last week. She did." And he, "Oh, it's on Instagram." I said, "Oh, really?" So I sat on it for a minute. And the next day, I just so happened to be scrolling through Instagram, and I said, "You know what? Let me go to this person's page, who I knew we had known mutually." And sure as I don't know what, As soon as I went to our friend's page, there it was. Smack dab. First photo you get to is her with her husband, with her bouquet and her red wedding dress, and all these people with their camera phones snapping photos.
Not as intimate as the first one, I would assume.
No, there was friends there.
And this was in a church. So if it was a private wedding, you could have easily invited me to
At
a
least
meeting,
to the ceremony.
to the service.
To the ceremony,
Exactly.
at least, yeah.
So I was hurt. And when I confronted her about it, she said to me, "Oh, I didn't know."
She didn't,
Didn't know
what?
she was getting married?
She didn't know you were going to run into a mutual friend without her?
I don't know what the heck she didn't know, but she knew at the time I got off the phone with her. But at that point, given some of the ups and downs that we did experience in our friendships, which I always thought that make you grow, you know,
Right.
I said, you know what? I've invested a lot in this friendship, so much in this. You know more about me and my family than I do about you and your new
yours.
family.
Right.
And I just felt like things were just becoming very one-sided, and it really hurt me to know that we had agreed back when we were 14, 15, whenever we go through these milestones in life, that we were going to be there for one another. We were going to support one another.
Was she there for milestones in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She was there. I mean, I can't even tell you some of the things that we've shared together as friends, you know? I mean, we
Yeah, I
went
was
through
there
thick
for
and
that.
thin. Yeah, we went through thick and thin. So when I confronted her about it, she was like, "Oh, well, you know, it was really small, Nadia. It was really just family." I said, "Really?" Because I found out through this person who ain't family. And matter of fact, I seen an all sea of phones taking photos of you. And you know what? It's free to invite somebody to your wedding. I can understand if your reception was
right,
private,
right.
but it would have been free. Why can't I celebrate you on one of the happiest moments of your life?
Considering our history.
Right.
Yeah.
And considering
That's
we
very
just had
So
went
and so
through
how I
something
left it was,
tragic.
I love you. I will always love you. My lines of communication with you will always be open. But as far as me making any efforts to maintain this relationship,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
So if she reached out to you tomorrow and said she wanted to have dinner, you'd be open to that?
Absolutely. I mean, she's always going to be my friend. She ain't gonna be on my wedding. And
you
she may
didn't-
even make the guest list. But I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. So you didn't end the friendship per se. You just pulled back from it
It's pretty much dead.
because you don't think she'll make
Well,
an
because
effort?
it was a lot of me making all of the efforts to maintain it. So I knew once I stepped away,
that was going to be
That
it.
was going to be
no,
it.
because she's not going to make any efforts, especially now she got a new husband and 3 kids now.
Right.
Right.
So it's kind of like, but I mean, I reached out to her for her birthday because I'm not a bitch, you
Right.
know. So I reached out to her for her birthday.
Was this post conversation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, oh, hey, I'm about to have the baby, blah, 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 blah. I said, and I didn't make no mention of the wedding. I just said congratulations, and I can't wait to see photos. And that's it, and I kept it moving.
Well, that was classy of you.
Yeah, because, as I said, I always say we have to walk in love.
Right.
No matter what, and have forgiveness in your heart. And although she may not know, she knows now.
Right.
And I'm sure that she's come to points in her life where she wishes that I was a part of it, and I'm not there. So
Right.
I had to just step away, and I'm okay with my small circle of friends.
Well, sometimes you have to do that for your own sanity.
Yeah.
For your own,
Right.
your own sanity's sake. You have to just allow those friendships to dwindle.
Right.
Well, some things have a season, some things have a reason, and everybody is not meant to go with you on your journey.
Right.
Right? Sometimes that just doesn't happen, and that's a hard thing to kind of, after years of friendship, to realize that, oh, this is it. We at the end of the road here.
Yeah. Are you in the midst of something like that too?
I am. 33 years of friendship.
Ow.
Right. Weddings,
rough.
divorce,
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and all of that. But my problem is, what happens when you stop being your authentic self
With a friend,
with a friend?
then the friendship is no longer
so you gotta
authentic.
fake the funk.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at the phone and you see your friend calling, and you're like, no, I have to gather myself first. What?
Ooh.
That was happening a lot. And then we would sit and have conversations, and like 10 minutes in, it's dead. Like,
Dead air.
yeah, dead air, because it's nothing. Because we're both holding back. I'm feeling guarded because she's been guarded. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that throughout the relationship. But again, another relationship where you're trying to love somebody to a better place. You hoping that things get better because you expecting that
Right.
you grow.
Right.
Right? And
the thick and the thin.
Right,
Right.
right. And it wasn't happening. And then I would sit with this person, and and they would be telling me stories, and I mean stories. And I'd be in my head going, she's lying. She ain't even telling the truth. And part of being a real friend, you'd be like,
Is to call them out on that.
oh, and I never did.
Why? Why didn't you ever
I
call
just
her
felt
out?
so uncomfortable. And this is what I'm saying. I wasn't being my authentic
Do
self.
you know at what point in the relationship you stopped being your authentic self? Was there
When I was listening to the lies all the time and not saying anything and just swallowing it.
was there a big lie that sort of
No, it was just so many
Right.
lies.
And then you know what they say, this what is it? What is
One
that
lie
saying?
leads to another lie to another
The
lie.
small vine spoil the
Spoiler what? The fruit of the...
no vine. Small vine spoil
Well,
the fox or something like that. I have to
right.
look it up.
Right.
Okay.
But it was just, it was that. And then it was like, how much value does this friendship have at this point? None. I was feeling empty. I was feeling guarded. I was feeling frustrated. And how do you call somebody out on their lie when it's the stupidest stuff? Like,
you just call them out?
I couldn't. It was going to be confrontational, and it wasn't going to end well. So what I decided was just to end the
away.
friendship.
Does she know you walked away?
Oh, I told her.
Oh, you had a conversation about it. And what was that
I
like?
sent her a text because it wasn't
Oh, you didn't even have an actual conversation.
because
Yeah, Tracy's good to text. I got to pick up the phone.
Yeah, I'm a conversation.
you know what?
Either
it's
we
not
gonna
even
meet.
text. I'm good with writing. That's my
Okay.
thing. I can express myself uninterrupted, right? Because I can get my whole thought out without you interrupting and interjecting, and I lose focus of my point.
Right.
So I sent a text, and I was like, "This relationship is becoming very heavy and toxic, and I think we've come to the end of our road. I'm always love you. I'm always pray for your happiness, your health, your children, and I'm done." And she sent me back a text and said, "Don't pray for me. No, thank you."
What?
And I was like, okay, yeah, we really at the end. Right. And no conversation. She never asked why. She never tried to call me.
There
and
was no
see-
follow up.
Never, nothing. We have a mutual friend that I still want to know that she's okay.
Right.
Right? So he'll let me know, like, even he'll call me just to say hello. And before he even says hello, he said, but first of all, because both of you guys are doing it. She's fine. Everything's okay. The kids
So
okay.
at least you know that you're not the only one. At least you know that she
Right,
she
she
has
is
some
inquiring.
takeaways.
She definitely is inquiring, and that gives me a good feeling. But there's no going back.
Well, when you stop finding joy in any relationship, right? A
Right.
friendship, a romantic relationship, even between family members,
Right.
When there's no more joy in your interactions, that's usually a good sign.
I was hoping that
That it's time
that was like any other relationship. There's thick and there's thin, through the good and the bad.
Well, were
but
you
it wasn't.
were you hoping that your text would evoke some response from
No,
her?
not at that point. I was just.
So you had sent that text being fine with it just being the period on the sentence.
right. Not to say that I'm not sad about it.
Right.
And when I think about her, I miss her.
Well, it's a relationship you've had for 33 years.
Yeah.
You're going to mourn it, just
Right,
like you mourn
and
any
I do.
relationship.
I
And I
believe
do.
also too that in friendships you have to, because you're constantly pouring into one another.
Right.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I know my relationship with you two ladies would not be as strong as it is today if it wasn't reciprocated. Me pouring into you,
and
you pouring into
exactly.
me pouring
It has
into
to
you.
be a
Yeah.
I
A
don't
give
want
and
to.
take.
Right? Don't just call me when you need prayer. Don't just call me when you in a bad situation, and you need my support.
Right.
Because what happens when I'm in a bad situation
Yep.
and I need you,
Yeah.
and I see
That's
crickets
what I
or
was
hear
finding.
crickets. Right, like that to me, I feel that just like a romantic relationship, platonic relationships, friendships, they take just as much work. And
Right.
you
And it's
constantly
energy.
and it's
It's a lot of energy.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, so have you ever experienced walking away from a toxic friendship?
I'm in the midst of walking away from a toxic friendship.
Tell us about
right
that,
now.
Tasha.
Well, my friend and I, or former friend on ice, I'm not really sure exactly
Where you
what
are
it
right
is.
now.
We met because of our children. Our girls grew up together. They've known each other since diapers. And they were, I don't know if they became friends because she and I became friendly or if we became friendly because they became playmates. But however it started, we became inseparable. We were always together. Our girls were always together. But once the girls began to grow apart, and find their own paths and their own friendships, I noticed that, there were some things that had happened in her life. She had a really tragic life. She had lost her sister tragically. She had lost her aunt a couple of years after that, unexpectedly. And I was there for all of that. But it was one of those things where I noticed when I pulled back, then things began to get stale.
Right.
Okay.
And once she and her ex-husband started their proceedings for divorce, it got even worse because now she's dating. So a lot of her energy was poured into her relationships, her romantic relationships.
So she didn't even have time.
So she didn't have time for me. And what really upset me about that was we lived in a condominium complex. So we were literally a 1-minute walk from one another.
Oh.
Literally a 1-minute walk from one another. And if I didn't call her to check in on her to see how she was doing, my phone didn't ring unless she needed something. And I remember bringing this to her attention probably 5 months into her separation, to which she was very apologetic and contrite. And but then after I lost my aunt, who was like a second mom to me, she was nowhere to be found. And that really struck me because when she lost her aunt, who was
You
like
was there.
a second
You were
aunt
there.
for-
Right.
second mom to her, I was there. When she lost her sister, a lot of her friends had sort of walked away from her because it was such a tragic circumstance, the way she had lost her sister, that she went into a deep depression. She had lost her sister one day. The very next day, she gave birth to her youngest daughter.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So that was a
There's a
lot
lot
for her to
going
take on.
on.
And she had depression and things in her background already. So
Right.
this just exacerbated it.
Right.
And a lot of her friends didn't know how to deal with that.
Right.
Right.
But I refused to let her wallow.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would take our girls to school, I would drop them off, and then I would go and I would sit with her for hours, 5 days, to the point where it almost became detrimental to my marriage. Because I was spending so much time.
You was
And then
pouring
I
in
was
to her.
pouring in.
Yep.
And my other friendships sort of fell by the wayside because
You made her a priority.
I made her a priority, and that was never reciprocated.
Right. And that's devastating to feel because something similar, very tragic, happened to the same person that I was talking about.
Right.
Right.
And Tracy and I actually went to her house.
Right.
Make sure that
To
we would
make sure she was
be
like, I
supportive.
felt like if we weren't that close of a friend, you would not be inviting us to your house to mourn with you and your family.
Right.
Right.
And that's what it was like. And
Right.
so but one of the things I'd begun to notice about her, I guess I noticed it before, but I really started paying attention once a little bit of distance
Right.
had been created.
Give you time for thought.
It gave me some time to really take everything in. She's a drama queen. She's one of those people who likes to stir the pot.
Like literally,
okay.
drama
It's
queen.
like she's literally a drama queen.
Okay.
She's one of those people who likes to stir the pot. She's a baiter.
Okay.
She posts things on Facebook sometimes
Okay.
just to be
to-
provocative. And that kind of bothered me. And so I because I don't like drama. The only drama I like in my life is on the stage. I don't
Right.
want to deal with anybody's drama.
Right.
I don't want you dealing with my drama.
Right.
So that started. Then our girls started having issues. And rather than allowing them to work things out amongst themselves, she would interject herself. And I didn't like that.
Do you think they started having issues because you and
No,
her
their
relationship-
issues. No, their issues
Okay.
were completely independent of ours.
Okay.
But
So you never shared anything that was going on between your friendship with her with your daughter.
No, but
Okay.
there were a lot of things my daughter saw because she was not as discreet
Discreet.
about things as I was.
Okay.
And she's one of those people who's passive aggressive. You know, passive aggression is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't like
And
it.
she would say things to get under my daughter's skin when I wasn't present. And that would bother my daughter, thereby bothering me.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Or she would say things in my presence, and
I'm
I'd be
having
like,
that
speak
too.
freely. You know, I don't like that. But at any rate, what really brought things to a head was George Floyd
really.
and Black Lives Matter.
Really?
She's a white woman
Okay.
who has black relatives because her father was half black.
Okay.
But if you looked at her, you wouldn't know that she had any. I mean,
okay.
we all do.
Right.
And she was posting things that really, really offended me. And when I called her out on them, she called me a hypocrite.
How so?
She had posted a video of a black woman interrupting a Black Lives Matter rally, screaming how Black Lives Matter is
Okay.
hypocritical,
Okay,
and
that.
she's like, absolutely, you know, what about black on black crime? Girl, don't even.
What
Don't
they
do
say,
that.
All of our skin folks are not our
Are
kin
not
folks.
kin folks.
Okay.
She's an all lives matter person, and And in this political climate, to me, given everything that's going on,
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
day.
Matter, definitely. I've had
And-
that same situation happen to me with another friend. Just same thing. But I checked her on it, and that's how you know when you have real, true friendships, when they can see they've hurt you.
That was the thing, though. For her, it was all about race baiting. And I don't have time for people who want to race bait.
Right, no.
Especially someone with whom I've shared intimate
Intimate.
details with about my life. Someone who has met my family, who knows I have black men in my family, who have sat down and broken bread with my black brothers, who are seeing what I'm seeing on the news with black men being murdered, unarmed black men being killed, unarmed black men being harassed. And when I come to you and I share with you that what you're doing hurts me and it hurts my family, and you shoot back at me, what about black on black crime? Okay. So my response to that was, I see you.
That's another topic.
No, let me
Tasha.
get my Vaseline and take these.
No,
earrings
not
off.
even because you know what? Because to me, it's not even worth all that. I'm not gonna switch out my pumps for my sneakers. I'm not gonna pull my locks back and be like, "Oh, all lives
You're
matter."
not gonna,
I'm not doing all
You're
that.
not gonna stereotype her.
I'm not. No. I'm not gonna do all that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you know that I see you for who you are.
And
It
then
is
walk
duly
away.
noted.
Right.
And in this
And don't
cancel
give
culture,
it all your energy.
Right.
you are canceled. Now, but here's the thing. All I wanted to do was delete her from my social media because I just didn't want to see that. I wasn't deleting her from my life. But she began to tell people things that were not true.
Okay.
And rather than come to me directly to have a conversation, she would do the passive aggressive thing. She would throw comments at my husband. She would say things around my daughter.
Right.
But you can't come to me.
Right.
Right? So it's one of those things where I'm just like, see, this is why I walk away from you. This is why when you stop bringing me joy, which had happened years ago, then it's time for me to
Well,
leave.
adding value. Like, what value do you
It's
bring?
time for me to leave. And
When
she
you
had-
start feeling a deficit.
and that's
Yeah.
what it was. And she
It's
knew this
over.
because the year before she had sent me a text apologizing for being a crappy friend and told me she was going to do better.
I've been there. That
But
with
she
that
wound
same
up-
friend too. We sat down. We
Right.
talked about it years ago. We took a break for a minute. You remember that break? Took a break for a minute.
So I find
didn't
for me
matter.
that when I cringe when my phone rings and it's a text from you, when I pick up my phone and I see that you're calling, I'm like,
Right.
hey girl. Right? I'm
You know,
fake.
you're not being authentic.
I'm not being authentic.
And then you're not being a
but,
true friend.
But I had to let her know. So
Right.
I walked away from it. And
so you walked away. When you walked away, you had a conversation?
I told her in no uncertain terms that I wasn't feeling her policies and her politics, and I didn't appreciate the way she was speaking about black people.
Okay.
And I see her for who she is and consider herself canceled.
I think this whole Black Lives Matter has ended a lot of friendships.
It really has. It really has, and it's. I think it's also brought an awareness.
Yes.
But
So
our friendship was on life support before that.
Right. Right. You're right.
You're right. Our friendship was on life support before that, and I told her that.
Right.
And I also told her that it was fine. You know, sometimes you have to learn how to just give people the distance that they need to go off and do their own thing. And if it were meant to be, we'll come back together and it will be organic. It won't be forced.
Right.
Because it was one of those things, like I said, if I didn't call her, she didn't call me. I would see her on occasion because her boyfriend and my husband are friends. So I would see her on occasion. I always kept it above board and classy.
Right.
Hey, girl, how are you? How are things? Great. Happy to hear it. Okay, it was good seeing you. Bye-bye.
Like, and let's
Right.
keep it
Right.
Let's keep it
And I
moving.
keep it moving.
Well, you know, I always love this passage in the Bible. It says, "Iron sharpens iron."
Yep.
Like a friend sharpens a friend.
Yep.
Yes.
And I feel like if you're not sharpening one another, somebody's going to get dull,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Somebody's going to get dull.
Well, your friendship definitely is going to get dull.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you know what I do? I buy new knife sets.
Right?
Hey.
Right?
So-
Because, you know, I hate being disappointed in friendships, in any kind of relationship.
In any kind of relationship. But
Right.
you know, for me, friends are the family you choose. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you can't help who your cousins are. That's the family you're born into. But if I'm your friend, I'm choosing to have you be a part of my life and
Right.
be invited in my life and be there for those monumental moments, the highs and the lows.
Yep. And in the in
So-
between.
And the in between. So
Yeah.
it was.
I know
of
you
course,
got a Bible verse for
yes,
this. I know you do.
Yes.
Because there's a Bible verse for everything.
for everything now.
God's got an answer.
And you know, one of my favorite books is Proverbs, because Proverbs is always giving you some wisdom about something.
I love Proverbs.
Proverbs is the bomb. So this particular scripture comes from Proverbs 27:6, and I'm reading it from the Amplified Bible, and it says, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, who corrects out of love and concern. But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful because they serve his hidden agenda.
Come on now.
Now, I
Come
mean,
on
you
now.
can read all of that and then just think of all different types of stuff with this. But in a nutshell, you want to be able to have, like, how you felt like you couldn't correct your friend. You couldn't address some of those things that you felt like, you know what, I don't know if you're telling the truth.
She wasn't going to receive it.
Exactly. So we have to get to a point to have that kind of transparency in our friendships. And if we can't get that transparency, if we are feeling one way or it's one-sided, we would
Time
be
to
fools
bounce.
to stay.
Right.
And
Time to
I heard Cindy Trim say this. She's a motivational speaker, and she's written a bunch of books. But she says, when a friend betrays you, it's not that friend's fault.
It's your fault.
because you allowed that
Yeah,
person
which-
into your life.
Yep.
So just keep that as if
Food
you're-
for thought.
food
That's
for
our
thought.
pardon shot.
Yes, if you are going through anything with a friendship with a friend right now, just take some of the things that we discussed.
Take some stock in it,
Right.
evaluate it, think about it, pray on it, sleep on it.
Right, and
Ask
whatever
that God
whatever
gives you clarity.
Yes, and sometimes you gotta weigh in what's most important for
Important.
you,
What
what's
works
beneficial
for
for you, because sometimes friends could be dead weight,
Absolutely.
dead weight.
Listen, Steve Harvey said, "Kick him off your wagon."
That's right. Kick them
So,
off.
I'ma go
Kick
on.
them off. But y'all are on my wagon.
That's
lady.
right, girl. I'm driving the wagon. Come on now.
Aw, I love this. Today was a great show.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes. So thank you, ladies.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, and
you.
thank
Thank
you
you for
all
joining
too.
us.
For joining us.
Please
We
remember
appreciate
to
you.
Like, subscribe,
and share,
And share.
because
Sharing.
Sharing is caring.
and make
And-
sure you comment if you want us to bring any kind of friendship,
relationship.
friendship topics on our show. Feel free to comment. But until next time,
Yes.
Stay divine. Bye bye.
ciao.